Hello and welcome back to another episode of Journey Through Eorzea. As always, I'm your host, Man with Hat, Tiberius Fox. We are right after the sudden left turn, as I said last episode, of just beelining for Shadowbringers. Our good boy Thancred got mind attacked with the rest of us, but him being more susceptible after the whole thing with La Habrea, he went down first. And we're like, well, we don't know what to do about that. Again, it's very crazy because there was this whole thing that they were setting up where, we're going to war, we're going to do all this backline stuff to deal with Garlemald and all this stuff. And it's like, actually, we're going to take this left turn. And so that's where we are. So with that, let's talk to Alisiae, who is, I'm assuming, talk to Carney Senna, who was, the whole thing with his soul being ripped out of his body. So let's see. Alisiae is eager to rendezvous with Urianger. Yes. Urianger agreed to meet us at the Rising Stones. If any of the others heard the voice, we'll soon find out. Good luck. I should get back to the meeting with the Elder Seedseer, but if there's anything I can do, anything at all, you must let me know, all right? Promise me. Right. Let's be on our way. Alright. Well, then we're gonna do the thing. We're gonna do the very thing we were just talking about. Oh, are we just gonna teleport there? I'm not against that. Oh, it's Hoary Boulder.
Eorzea! God, it's good to see you.
Would that our meeting were under happier circumstances. I judged the voice sufficient cause for concern even before you sent word of its effect on our comrade.
You heard it too, then?
Aye. And all but certainly at the selfsame instant. Alas, pained as I was, I could make little sense of what few words did then reach mine ears.
Who do you think is responsible? Could this be the Ascians doing?
That I cannot say. Not when so little is known.
The one thing that's cool about this too is Shadowbringers is really when Urianger he's another character that kind of comes into it. The thing that's funny is you think about all the characters that go on. You spend almost all your time with Alphino, some with Alisiae because she shows up in Heaven's Ward, but it's almost you and Alphino all the time, and then it's you, Alphino, and Alisiae, and then Y'shtola comes and goes. She's gone all the time. But it's just like, and Tataru, I mean, Tataru's gotten more stage time now, almost in some ways than Urianger has, or at least equal. Seems like to me anyway. But this is where like he's gonna get his outfit redesign when we get into Shadowbringers and the whole thing. So I'm kind of looking forward to all that. It's just like I forgot how little like activity Urianger really gets aside from like the little thing here and there.
Ere I indulge in speculation, I would examine Thancred with mine own eyes.
To Alamigo, then, without further delay.
Why not just... I guess I was wondering, it's like, why not bring him here? But I guess they got better healers there, maybe?
One other thing. During my visit to the Far East, I observed a strange phenomenon.
Thou referrest, I presume, to the localized reduction in etheric density.
Well, that spares me the trouble of an explanation. Yes. I noted precisely that at two apparently unconnected locations. I take it the phenomenon is not limited to the Far East.
Indeed not. Of late, our agents charged with surveilling the beast tribes have spoken of little else. In every corner of the realm, they tell of places in which the ether hath grown thin.
This is a plot point that I had completely forgotten about. I don't know if it even has... Maybe it has bearing later, and I just don't remember it having bearing. But... I remember them being far more focused on, like, well, what do we do about our friends?
Naturally, my suspicions first turned to primal activity, but the areas thus affected betray no evidence of summoning. I must confess to being quite perplexed.
If the same phenomenon is being observed in multiple locations on opposite sides of the world, we may safely discount regional factors. Needless to say, this warrants further investigation.
Indeed, I shall make it my task to.
Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. It's happening again.
The voice. It calleth to me once more.
Man, it sounds like it's painful, but like, ugh.
I hear it too.
Only you. Only you.
No! Ishtola! Eorzea!
Throw wide the gates.
No! No, this can't be happening!
You know, you gotta think about it. Alizé is having a real hard time right now. Like, before it was like, okay, she's kind of sulking. Alphino goes missing. Okay, it's alright, Alphino goes missing. And then all of a sudden Thancred goes down. Like, alright, we gotta do something about it. Alright, John Jay. It's like, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when you're watching like a horror game or something like that, or like a movie, and like maybe there's like a serial killer after you, and as you have the serial killer after you, you finally run into the police, and you're like, oh, I'm so glad you're here. And then like right when you get there, like the murderer like kills the cop, and then you realize that, you know, all your help that you gave you this hope for a moment was stripped away from you. It reminds me of this. She's having a really hard time, and like she was like, okay, we're gonna figure this out. Urianger's gonna help figure this out. He's very learned. Him and Y'shtola are gonna do it, and then what happens? This. I don't know if they're both out, but yeah, it ain't looking like they ain't out.
Y'shtola! Eorzea! Open your eyes! Open your eyes, I beg you! Say something! Anything! Not again. Please, not again.
Yeah, it's a rough go. Other thing I wanted to say is that I didn't remember that. I remember going off and doing stuff, and then like you'd come back and like, all right, what are we gonna do? And then someone else went down, and then you go around, and then you do something else, and someone else came down. But we're down 3 scions already, and it's been, I mean, proverbially like 20 minutes. So I can see why Alizé would be very stressed, because she's not really the leadery type, right? So she can take charge and be bossy, but that's about it. So we'll see how she does, how she copes. Forgive me, that was an unseemly display. It happened before your very eyes, milady. None here would have behaved any differently. We have borne the 2 of them to a private chamber, but tell me, is it true that Master Thancred languishes in a like state in Alamigo? I'm afraid so. Though given the circumstances, it would seem best to observe them together. I will send word to Lys that he should be brought here. Take heart, my lady. The world is full of scholars and knowledgeable folk of every persuasion. Someone out there is bound to know of all that ails our comrades, and how it may be cured. Thus we will rouse them, no matter what. That we will, Hori, that we will. But first things first. Our comrades have questions. May I ask you that you explain the situation to them? I must attend to a private matter. Oh, I promised I'd visit someone in Laminsa. He's been waiting at Maelstrom Command for a while now. You know, you should come along too. I think he'd be glad to see you. Wait, is it the... I'm thinking, is it the little guy? I'm trying to think of his name. He's like the little, what do you call him? He's a little beast tribe guy that got tempered when he I know my brain's just going to mush. He got tempered when they summoned, was it Ifrit, right? I think, or was it Titan? No, it was Titan, right? And he's just kind of like a pseudo zombie of sorts. I'm wondering if that's who it is. Is my brain that good? Because I remember this vaguely. All right, let's go to Maelstrom Command. Alisiae. As you've probably guessed, it's Gabu we've come to see. The private here will bring him out to us. Ever since the Maelstrom took him in, I've tried to visit as often as I can, and after we befell our friends, I was taken the urge to visit again. It's difficult to explain.
Here he is, my lady. Gabu, it's been too long. I'm afraid there's been no change. If he can see or hear us, he has given no sign. I see.
Cat bumped my button. Unfortunate. He's being very needy right now, which, you know, animals, but it's okay.
We promised that we would come and visit you together, didn't we? Alphino and I. I'm sorry that we haven't managed that yet. You know, with the three of us like this, does it not remind you of that night? Of the stars beyond count twinkling in the heavens? I was feeling pretty low back then. Powerless. But I knew that my brother was close by if I needed him, and that the others would be waiting for me back at the Rising Stones. Not like now.
That's pretty somber, man.
I've seen my share of trouble since coming to Eorzea. Been reminded again and again of my limitations, of how little I can change about this world. And I've come to know the sorrow of parting all too well. But to have the people I hold dear struck down before my eyes, and be powerless to help them, that I cannot bear.
Let's see, you still have me, you don't have to bear this burden alone. You know, I'll say that. We've been pretty close for a long time.
And for that, I am grateful. I don't know what I would do without you.
Aw.
Well, that's more than enough brooding for one day. Come on. We have friends to save.
Imagine if we go first and Alisiae goes after us. That'd be brutal. I cannot for the life of me remember what those things are called. I keep wanting to say they're not Gabus, because Gabus are the big things. And I was like, I cannot for the life of me remember. Gobbies? Is it a gobby? I don't know. The gobby the other things. I don't know. Let's return to the Rising Stones and take it from there. Thanks again for agreeing to come. It meant a lot to me. Alright. To the Rising Stones. Revenant's Toll. Trying to think, all you really got left though is Alisiae and Alphino, right? So they got to carry the rest of the story as far as things go. Imagine if Stydian had gone though. Oh boy. Into the Rising Stones. Thinking back to when Zero went to the first as well. She got it pretty easy though. I did some thinking on the way back, and I think Hori is right. We need to seek outside help. Ordinarily we would turn to our own experts on such matters, but they're both among the stricken. I will begin by reaching out to a myriad of guilds and research institutions here in Eorzea. Additionally, Grandfather and Midfilia had a wealth of connections between them, and I mean to explore those avenues too. We'll find a way to save everyone, mark my words. Much and more has happened in recent days, some of it for good, and some not so, but all around me people continue their fight. From the shinobi who search for Alphino and to the Alliance members who make ready the move against the Empire, they march on in the face of great adversity, bearing heavy burdens. Everyone is playing their part, and so must I. You have your own part to play, I know, and it's bigger than most, so I won't keep you. Just promise that you'll visit from time to time, and I'll promise to have good things to share with you when we do. Or when you do. It's one of those check-in quests. Meanwhile, in the Imperial Palace. There's one scene, I don't know if this is it, there's one scene in particular, this might be it, that I always think about, and it's been a long time since I've seen it, so it's like, actually knowing, I don't know, it's when Emet Selch shows up. I don't know if this is it or not.
The Populares no longer present an obstacle. Now is the time to bring the Empire's might to bear. A word from your radiance is all it takes. But one word, and the Imperial army will fall upon Alamigo as a pack of bloodthirsty wolves and tear that feeble nation apart. Have you no words for me? Despite the lengths I go to, an emissary playing the part of a fool. When first I took this face, I swore to use all of my knowledge, all of my power, to further the cause of the Empire. My deeds stand testament to my commitment. And with this adamant flesh at my disposal, I could destroy the Icon Slayer as easily as one might swat a fly. Why do you hesitate? Our enemy is resourceful. Though victory is certain now, it will not remain so indefinitely. Deliberate if you must, but be quick about it. We'll speak again when you have unburdened yourself of doubt. Until then, I take my leave, Father.
Some serious gear they wear. It looks really impractical, I'll be honest.
I should be the one to sigh.
It is this scene, alright.
I played my part to perfection. I had earned my rest, and then, thanks to Brea's crowning act of idiocy, our favorite emissary sees fit to summon me back.
I do love... I just don't... Part of the reason that Shadowbringers works so well is Emet Selch is such a good character. He's relatable, he's interesting, he's kind of fun, but also kind of maniacal in a weird way. I remember when I know that there's a lot of people were mad when he came back later, but I loved it. It's like he's so good.
Elidibus
And look at the
was
drip.
ever a warrior, a most tiresome trait. Would you not agree? What? Have you no words for me either? No matter. I've long grown weary of this mummery.
Am I crazy, or does Emet Selch look kind of like Judd Nelson? Am I crazy? Does he not look like Judd Nelson? A little bit of Judd Nelson had some white in the front of his hair and a big gem in the middle of his forehead. Call me crazy. Make Judd Nelson play Emet Selch in the Final Fantasy XIV movie. That's what I'm gonna say right now. He might be too old for it now, but I'm just saying he would have been a perfect casting.
Now, my dearest grandson, let me remind you of your place in the simplest of terms. You do not make judgments, you administer them. Swiftly and to the letter. Naught else is your concern. Elidibus may be an insufferable bore, but he is no fool. His choices as emissary seldom err.
I like how the guard is like, wait, what?
If aught threatens the balance twixt light and dark, it falls to you to remove it. Be it by your own hands or by your armies, you have ample means at your disposal. That is why this empire exists, why I built it.
That's one of the things that I did remember but kind of forgot over time is that Emet Selch is like the father of the Garlean Empire, basically. That's why he's got, he's Solus Zoos Galvus, and it's like, okay.
Oh dear, have I touched a nerve? You always were an easy one to read. I pity you, I do. As they say, ignorance is bliss. And I know how much happier you would be not knowing the things you know. The Founding Father was an Ascian, and he created the Empire solely for the purpose of sowing the seeds of chaos. Don't take it personally. I merely do my duty. To bring about a calamity requires no small amount of power, and there is no surer way to obtain such power than by collecting powerful pawns. To that end, I have labored long and hard, and I must say I am quite pleased with my handiwork, paltry though it seems in comparison to Allag.
That's what I was waiting for. He just like straight up shoots him.
You fiends are overfond of your own voices. Mark me, Ascian. Man is the master of his own destiny.
In your case, man, I don't think so. Not so much.
Such a waste of time and energy, both yours and mine.
You know, to be honest, I don't think Varys thought it was gonna really work. It's like lashing out in the, what's the word I'm looking for? Lashing out at just the way that things can't be changed anyway. It's like, fine.
Lest you forget you are Emperor now. If you wish to spout drivel about man's destiny, save it for the masses. It will serve to give them a sense of purpose, and you pliant pieces for the game. Oh, do stop sulking, boy. You, of all people, should understand. Ours is a struggle to restore both mankind and the world to their rightful state. Viewed thus, our goals are one and the same.
It's interesting, though, since the Empire, like, really wants to get rid of primals, yet the ones who can always do the primal summoning are the Ascians, and yet he started an entire empire and then pushed them all towards, like, hey, let's get rid of all the primals. Obviously to sow conflict, right? But I mean, it's just an interesting way of doing things. Goodbye, mystical Judd Nelson. But yeah, I've been waiting for that. I've been waiting for that scene for a long time. Meanwhile, at the Resistance encampment somewhere in the Empire. Oh, we finally gotta figure out what happened to Alphino. Oh, that's right. This is when this is another plot thread that like didn't really go anywhere. I don't know if this is it right here. Or... They had that like, was it Black Rose or whatever? And he just murdered everybody. What in the world? Yeah. This is another plot thread that I don't remember ever going anywhere. Again, this like, they were setting up all this stuff to seem like this was going to be the thing. And then you just take this left turn instead. It's so bizarre. Dead. All dead. Yet I see no wounds, nor any evidence of battle. Damn them. They finally used it. The Empire developed an alchemical weapon in Girabania, a gas. Black Rose, yep, that's what I thought it was called. And to breathe it is to breathe your last. And that did this? I thought the project abandoned and its vile fruit destroyed, but naught else could have wrought such an atrocity. Fools, what do they hope to gain with this butchery? Can they not see that a rule won through terror will not endure? How many more provinces must they lose? Nay, wait, this is not the work of men, but monster. The Ascians, it cannot be a coincidence that their trail led us here. Their objective was never to rule, but to sow strife and discord. Such a crime does indeed bear the mark of the bringers of chaos. Black Rose cannot be allowed to kill again. We must find the Ascians and put an end to their plot. Bye, dead peeps. But yeah, there was so many like random setups that you go, oh, that's gonna have something to do with this, and this is gonna have something to do with that, but then it didn't.
I'm glad you've come, though I'm afraid there's little in the way of good news. After you left, we reached out to both the Alchemists Guild and Stillglade Fane and attempted all manner of treatments.
I don't know what Stillglade Fane is. I'll have to look that up.
But the results were always the same. Whatever the answer is, it's not alchemy or conjury. Why did it have to be Y'shtola and Eorzea and not me? Out of all of us, they are the ones who could feasibly have solved this puzzle.
Okay, I looked it up. The Stillglade Fane is a Gridanian organization in Final Fantasy XIV. This is the home of the Conjurers Guild, where the initiates are trained in communing with the elementals. Okay, so it's the Conjurers Guild within Gridania. Good to know.
And Elfino's still missing. God, it's all going wrong. Where do we even start?
A grave situation indeed. Might I be of some assistance?
Is that Kryl? What's up, Kryl? Pikachu suit?
Kryl! I thought you were busy delving into the mysteries of Eureka.
No, that's right. She's over in Eureka when you're doing that. Yeah, we're not doing a series on Eureka. That's not happening. I still never finished Eureka. I got a long ways in, but I didn't finish.
When word reached me of the plight of our friends, I could not well stay away. As a fellow scion, not to mention your erstwhile mentor, this is one of those times you should feel free to call on me, regardless of my personal circumstances.
Yes, I should have thought of that. Thank you for coming, Kryl. We would welcome your insight.
Yeah, Kryl's not dumb. She knows a lot of stuff, too.
I should be happy to provide it. Now, what's this I hear about Alphino heading into Imperial territory? That boy always did have some funny ideas. Do you remember the speech he gave when he was accepted to the Studium?
My life's goal is naught less than the salvation of this star.
That particular grand pronouncement has been a source of great embarrassment to him, as you know. But the fact of the matter is, he meant every word and has lived his life accordingly.
Yes, he remains altruistic to a fault, but I'm worried he was too fixated on his goals to see the dangers, as has happened before.
You needn't be so concerned. Though his values remain the same, Alphino is not the blinkered boy he once was. Slowly but surely his eyes have been opened, thanks to a certain someone.
Also, just the fallout of the Crystal Braves. That humbled him so hard that I don't want to say he changed overnight, but like that I think the whole thing with the Crystal Braves really was the greatest catalyst in his life thus far. For change and change as a person and like a reframing of his beliefs. Because the Crystal Braves, like he had this high-minded ideal, and then Ilberd and the whole thing just swept that all out completely and just humbled him into the floor.
A certain someone whom he'd be mortified to learn had heard about his little speech. Mum's the word, eh?
How much you want to bet later on they're going to ask me about that, and I'm going to have the chance to say it or not say it? Now, normally I probably would have forgotten about it, but I'm not forgetting about it this time. I'm going to try not to.
Right, I'd better have a look at our patients. They're in the infirmary, I assume. I'll need absolute quiet, so it would be best if I did this alone. If you'll excuse me.
She needs like some socks. I don't know. Those little boots don't look like they're very comfortable. You know, I realize I judge people's shoes a lot in this game. Like, if I don't think your shoes are absolutely amazing, I'm just like, I will ridicule you. The man with hat does not respect your shoes. Sorry. I do all that for Crompulus. It's just like... he picks the best quotes.
All three are in fine physical health. At a glance, I would say they were merely sound asleep. Except for the fact that I couldn't sense the slightest trace of them in their bodies. It's as if their souls have taken leave of their physical forms.
Ah, yes. The Elder Seedseer made a similar observation.
I've read the report. When you heard this mysterious voice, you described feeling as if you were somewhere else, yes? If we assume the ether which comprises your essence is being drawn to some other place, then it may be possible to follow the trail it leaves behind, just as we did in our search for Thancred.
I wasn't around for that, but I can't imagine it was easy.
Oh, they're talking about when we were trying to find Thancred after Y'shtola whisked him and her away, and he ended up out in the middle of, Heaven's Ward. What was it? What was it? The Dravanian hinterlands or something like that?
Oh, it wasn't. But that's no reason not to try. I will have need of Master Matoya's crystal eye if I'm even to make the attempt. So I suggest we pay her a visit.
I fat-fingered it. I can't remember how Matoya acts, but I can't imagine she's going to be super jazzed to know that Y'shtola has just been completely incapacitated. The thing about Matoya that gets me is I can't tell if she's like super crazy about the Dravanian hinterlands. I can't tell if she's like really amped up about Y'shtola or if he's just like, yeah, it's fine. Not a big deal, super easy, barely an inconvenience, that sort of thing. I can't tell, because I would have think if I were her and I found out Y'shtola, who's like almost like my foster daughter, has been, incapacitated by some manner of magic, I would ask for her to be brought to me or something like that. But like, I don't remember what she says, but I know it ain't that. You know what I mean? So, I guess we'll figure out when we get there. Up and away, web. Alright. I do like how it randomly makes you go to places you haven't been in a while. Like the other one, it made us go to wherever. What was it? We stopped in somewhere. I can't even remember what it was now. But it's just like, oh yeah, we're gonna go back there for a minute. We went back there, then now we're going into the Heaven's Ward area. Why? Just over there's Alexander. And then a sudden person riding by on a horse. Let's see, it's Memo Jit, level 76 dancer of the Goot Empire. I'd heard Master Matoya was something of a recluse, but this seems extreme. Still, I'm happily overlook her eccentricities if she agrees to help us. Don't mind us, we're just barging in. No big deal.
Come to disturb my peace again, have you? I hide myself away in a cave, and still you people insist on pestering me with your problems.
I mean, okay.
Oh, I mistook you for young what's-his-name, but I see now you're the sister. Weren't you supposed to be the lively one? I've seen happier faces at a rain-sodden burial.
Well, I'm sorry to dash your expectations, but the situation isn't exactly conducive to gaiety.
Ha! That's more like it. Stoller used to spit and hiss like a wildcat too. Better for a young thing like you to be filled with fire and leave the doom and gloom to your elders.
You were
Now,
pissed off, and I liked
what
it.
exactly does this tragic situation of yours have to do with me?
If I may, Master Matoya, we have need of your crystal eye once more.
And Stoller is one of the afflicted, is she?
See, she does care, but like, I don't know.
Very well. She may be an ungrateful stray, but she's my ungrateful stray, and I'll not see her buried before I am.
I dig Master Matoya for who she is. I love that she's a curmudgeon and she enjoys curmudgeonly behavior.
Right. Let us see what we can see. I'll begin from where our friends first fell, and cast my senses out from there.
The one other thing is, Master Matoya is very learned, so I'm surprised when you tell her about what I'm assuming Connie Senna said about things being called, that she didn't have more input than that. Then, yeah, here, go ahead, use my eye. You know what I mean? Like, you have nothing else?
What is it? Did you find them?
This doesn't make sense. How is it even possible?
How is what possible? Kryl, what did you see?
The threads, they just ended. And no, I didn't lose track of them. I followed them as far as they went. It's as if they were cut off.
Could their ether have dissipated if it had? Oh gods! Their bodies are just husks. It's like the broodmother's daughter all over again.
No, this is different. The Kalyana girl was already dead, body and soul, when Lakshmi effected her resurrection.
Aye, let's not jump to conclusions. If their physical forms yet breathe and show no signs of wasting, then it follows that their souls must still be intact somewhere.
But where?
That's the question, isn't it, girl? Death has not taken them to the ethereal sea, yet there are no tracks left for us to follow.
We're no closer to an answer than when we started. But knowing their souls are still out there is progress of a sort. We just have to keep looking. Pray, excuse me a moment. Yes? I remember, but... What, to Alamigo? We're on our way. That was Lise. Apparently, a group of Populares have defected to Alamigo, and Maxima, the envoy Alphino left with, is one of them.
I kind of wondered, because when we saw definitely not Gaius and Alphino, Maxima, who was originally with them, was no longer with them, so I wonder where he got off to.
I'm sorry. I realize we've barely begun here, but...
Go, child, go! You've made up your mind, and life's too short for dithering.
I'll do some digging in the meantime and see if there isn't some other method we could use to continue the search.
Let's be off then.
I think my one gripe with Master Matoya... Oh wait, somebody there. What? That was the broom fellow.
Not again. The enchantment barely seems to take these days. I chalk it up to old age, but I rather doubt it's that simple.
Oh, is this the ether drained thing? I'm assuming it's the ether drained thing.
Before they took ill, Y'shtola and Eorzea were sharing notes on a thinning of the ether. It seems to be happening all over.
Does it now? And here I was, all set to blame my woes on that creaking mountain of refuse clogging up the Thaliac. I fear something has gone awry. Still, there's naught to be gained from starting in shadows. You can only do what can be done, and that's but one thing at a time.
You know what would be interesting? Since they always want to do like weird things with time later on, I don't think it would be bad if you temporarily had to partner up with a younger Matoya who is a little more spry and interesting. The thing I was going to say is, the one thing about Matoya that gets me is she seems to only know as much as the plot will allow her to know. She's otherwise like renowned as being this brilliant mage, knows a ton of stuff, stayed behind, didn't want to move when everyone went back to Charlene and everything else. But I would almost want to like headcanon her as being like, she actually knows exactly what's going on, but doesn't want to like take it away from the youth to try and figure it out for themselves. So she doesn't say anything like, "Oh yeah, I don't know, what could that be?" That I find that would be a little more entertaining, but whatever. Why is she following? I thought she was staying there. Maybe she meant she was going to look into it back there. So that was the woman who you named Stola. I had a distinct feeling of being grabbed by the scruff of the neck and having the nonsense shaken out of me. When Alphino is back, I'd like to visit again and ask her what tales she has of grandfather. Alright. A defector's tidings. I almost can't bear to hear what Maxima has to tell us. But it can't be bad news, can it? Lise would have said. Unless... there's no point speculating. Lise said she's notified the guards of our coming, so we should head straight to the palace gate in the Alamegan Quarter. I'll be praying for good news, learn what they can about Alphino's plight, and leave the search for our friends' lost souls to me. Alright. Thank you, Cryo. Off to the Alamegan Quarter we go, I guess. She running away. And she'll still get there before me, because she's using hacks. I was just thinking, like, have you ever got the ring for winning the lottery in this game? The giant one? I don't think I would ever take that thing off. And minds would be blown if I ever saw me on it. I'll never get that, because I'm not even doing the lottery right now, but... Greetings, scions. The commander told me to expect you. Shall I show you in? Yes. Yes, you shall. There's a lot of cutscenes going on right now, though. But it's a lot of heavy setup for Shadowbringers, so I get it.
I'm sorry to drag you halfway across the realm, but when Maxima mentioned Alphino, I thought you'd want to hear the news in person.
Ah, we meet again. Though I was hoping our reunion would be under more auspicious circumstances.
What happened to my brother? Where is Alphino?
Hey, how about you calm down, lady? Like I'm saying, like the one thing about this game that gets me is like they have characters react in a way that is like somewhat, I don't know, like they'll have them be like overly aggressive for no reason. Like I understand she's stressed, but like there's someone who's come here. He's come here for his own volition. You know he was with Alphino. Maybe like a little worried, like oh what happened, but not like what happened. Tell me right now. Tell me absolutely right now.
Never fear, my lady. Your brother was in fine health when I took my leave of him. And I have no reason to assume that has changed.
You assume?
If you will allow me, I shall endeavor to explain events. Our troubles began not long after we departed Doma. While crossing the burn, we were fired upon by the Emperor's personal guard and forced to make an emergency landing. As we stumbled from the wreckage, our attackers fell upon us again, and we would have perished there and then were it not for the intercession of a third party, a band of mercenaries whose leader claimed to pursue a vendetta against the Scions. This Shadow Hunter, as he styled himself, then escorted us out of the wastes to relative safety. Upon arriving back in civilization, I gathered my Populares colleagues and prepared to flee the Empire. Master Alphino, however, declined the invitation to join us, preferring to continue his investigation into the Ascian threat.
Well, at least he's not lying in a heap in the burn. Tell us more about these Ascian hunters. Who are they? And is Alphino still with them?
He is. As to who they are, I'm afraid I have nothing to tell you. Beyond the fact that they root out and destroy Ascians, they were unwilling to divulge anything which might serve to identify them.
You know, it's an interesting thing I hadn't thought about until now. Every time we've killed an Ascian, was it like 2-3 times now? I think it's just 2. So you need extraordinary means to kill an Ascian, because every time you kill them, they just come back to life, right? So like the first time, we had to dump all that ether into it with Tatsumata or whatever it was, and use it to just like crush his like ethereal essence with aether. And then the other one, man, I don't remember what happened exactly there. We got like a fancy buff there, and we were able to kill him. How Shadowhunter is killing them is interesting. I would like to know how he is doing that.
They would not even reveal their next destination. But Master Alphino asked to accompany them all the same.
In fact, thinking about it more, thinking about how masks he had on his hip and how many he has killed, that is actually a crazy, that's a crazy KD he's got there.
Since parting company with your brother, we've been engaged in a game of cat and mouse with the Emperor's Guard. We made our way through province after province, finding the army busy restoring order wherever we went, until we finally arrived here in Alamigo. I cannot thank Commander Aldin enough for giving us such an unexpectedly warm welcome.
I'm not inclined to turn away refugees, no matter which land they call home. And if they can tell me how things lie in Garlemald, all the better.
On that subject, there is much I would tell you. During the course of our journey, we heard tales that an entire rebel army had been slaughtered in the space of a single night. It would seem my former comrades grew tired of putting down uprisings in the conventional manner, and chose instead to bring a formidable new weapon to bear. Details were sparse, but the rumor alone was enough to dampen the flames of rebellion. I have also heard reports that several companies have withdrawn from their designated provinces and begun marching westward. It is my assessment that the Empire's forces are mobilizing for a large-scale military engagement.
Look at all this setup. Look at all this setup to make you think, imagine you're sitting in Stormblood, right? And you don't know Shadowbringers. You know Shadowbringers is coming because they probably announced at this point, but you don't know what it is, right? They're setting it up. In fact, you probably don't know about it at this point because I don't think they would have announced it yet. You're still doing it. At least I think so. And you have all this setup, there's Black Rose and there's Xenos is there, and now you have Emet Selch as well, even though they don't, these Zolas Van Galvis or whatever. And they're marching west and they're going to attack, and you're like, how do we deal with this? And then while it's a Pantamount, very important thing that you have this whole, your friends are going unconscious and you're not sure what to do about it. It almost seems like, okay, we have to fix that so they can help deal with these problems that are happening. But like we said, it's a giant left turn. It's just going to go and veer off. I was almost incredibly surprised when I was like, how did they it's impressive in a way because you think they've relied on us so much that they were able to deal with all that stuff on their own while you're gone.
Westward? You mean they're getting ready to invade Alamigo?
We knew this was coming, but not that it would be so soon.
We've barely even begun to shore up our defenses. They won't stop an invading army.
No, they won't. Dispatch messengers to the Alliance leadership requesting reinforcements, and send word to our officers in the field to hasten completion of those border fortifications. Prepare to meet the Imperials head on! No matter how quickly we act, we still want for time. When the enemy comes into view, our best recourse will be to open negotiations with their commander, and see that the ensuing proceedings take as long as possible.
Would you and Alisiae head to Doma and let Lord Hien know about this? I'm sure he'll want to hear about Alphinaud too.
Consider it done. We'll send word when...
Oh.
Untold sorrow
Men talk.
must be
The
changed.
Mind Taker.
Ahead looms a calamity. Eon become instant. Throw wide the gates.
You know, I have to assume this is happening to Alphinaud at the same time.
You heard it too.
I'm kind of surprised she didn't collapse right there.
Well, at least we're both still standing.
Oh, thank the gods. I thought we'd lost you for a moment there. Why does this keep happening?
I wish I knew. Nothing we've tried has brought us any closer to an answer. We'll keep working on it. But first, we need to go and see Lord Hien.
One of the things I'm trying to get through this part of the story that I'm on, through this episode, before we're going for maintenance down in like an hour and a half, so it's like 11 p.m. Pacific, which is like 2 a.m. Eastern. So Alphinaud's safe for the present at least. Now we need to worry about is a full-scale Imperial invasion. I'm actually glad Lee's talked us into visiting Lord Hien. Better to be dashing from place to place than sitting around stewing over things we can't change. To the Enclave. Is that the same guy we saw the other day that was running around the thing? It could be. Level 81 Samurai. He was running around the Dome and Enclave. I was like, Jose, you gotta calm down. Alright. Tunamai. Wait a minute. No, I'm not falling for that again. I always forget that. You can teleport straight there. You're not gonna get me, buddy. It doesn't show it as a crystal you can get to right there, so I just miss it all the time. Look how much easier that was. You know, we should check and see how much... We haven't fought much, but we should check and see how we need it. Are we mending? Yeah, it's fine. It's like in the 95s. It's fine. Hien Khan Guardsman. Yes, you may show me in, as a matter of fact. Got a whole entourage in here. Greetings, my friends. I was just discussing future endeavors with the members of our newly formed alliance. The Kojin and the Confederacy you already know, and it is our own strength and arms won to the cooperation of the Stipt tribes. We have also been joined by our neighbors of Nangsha and indomitable citizens of Dalmasca, though the scattered nature of the latter's resistance will somewhat delay their official induction. These proud peoples have united under a single purpose, to stand against the tyranny of the Garlean Empire. I am glad to see your alliance is coming together so swiftly. As things stand, I fear we will soon need your strength. I thank you for bringing me news of Alphinaud. His fate is never far from my thoughts, and not only because he is our emissary. As for this sudden deployment of Imperial forces, I agree that Ala Mhigo would be wise to shore up its borders with all haste. Every report we receive from Shinobi indicates a massing of troops in the western provinces. It seems all but certain that the Empire is poised to bring its fist down upon Eorzea. And I would help deflect that blow, but I cannot risk sending reinforcements just yet. We will remain vulnerable to airborne assault until the wall and the burn is in place. The all-important elegant energy barrier. The energy barrier, yes. I thought to call it something more auspicious, a name drawn from the four lords of legend, perhaps. Seryu's Aegis, or some such. Well, just a thought. The Ironworks engineers report that they have finished calibrating the generators, and are ready to proceed to the testing stage. Have you time to attend the first test? You've seen the field which protected Alisiae firsthand, and I would be interested to hear how you think ours compares. I will come too if you don't mind. Though I am no Y'shtola, I may be able to offer some insight. Of course, time being of the essence, it would be best if we first made directly for the bird. Yugiri, I leave you and Hakuro to bring the War Council to a close. Understood. Your mounts are saddled and ready, my lord. Wear the storms. Alright. Well, I know I usually run these about an hour, 20 minutes or whatever, but being as we are getting close to the end of Part 4 and the beginning of Stormblood, I think I should probably call it there. I could tell you how many missions we have left, if you guys want. Let's take a look real quick. Hang on. So what's the name of the next quest? It is Seryu's Wall. Isn't that a dungeon? Hang on. Seryu's Wall. Oh my gosh. It's spelled changed to Sirius. Will you tell me? I gotta make sure it's spelled exactly the way it's supposed to be. Hang on. If it's even slightly wrong, we'll just ignore it. S-E-I-R-Y-U apostrophe. Well, it is not. Oh, come on. I'm trying this one last time. If it will not do it, then so be it. I see what the problem is. It keeps auto-correcting, trying to make it all caps for some reason. Why you do this to me, game? Alright, there we go. Finally. Yeah, okay, so we are at 158 of 162. So there might be maybe 2 more episodes before we get to Shadowbringers. And if I'm tempted to do one more quest to make sure, we'll do one more. We have the time. I want to make sure this comes out nice and even, because if it doesn't, then we're going to have an episode that's either like an hour and 45 or it's going to be like 20 minutes long, and I don't want that. So we will cross the burn by Yol and Falcon as before. Join me at the Overlook near the House of the Fierce. I figure we can either get into this a little bit and see how we do. If we can finish this particular quest and leave ourselves at like 3 quests in like, a usual episode's length, so. Believe it or not, I do try to make this nice. At least somewhat, right? I know it's mostly for cataloging my experience, but still. Alright, so I've got to remove this from my favorites. This thing is silly. Just some weird Gabu that is, pink or whatever. And that's fierce, okay. Give the word when you are ready to take wing. I am ready. I'm ready right now. I want to rock right now. My name's Rob Bass and I came to get down. Alright. Seems like it's smaller than I remember seeing it in the distance, but maybe I'm crazy, I don't know. Elegant stuff is bizarre. I like the design for elegant stuff, though. The weird kind of angular design.
It seems the engineers have matters well in hand. Should the barrier work as we intend, Doma will be free to reinforce her allies in Alamigo without fear of weakening her own borders.
I do like that their plan is that we can't put a shield over the city. So what if we just made it as like a thing they have to go around and they run out of gas? So they'll just like be disincentivized to go that way.
Honored friends, the time has come to put your hard work to the test. Start the generator.
Everybody around here is a big fan of the Power Rangers, clearly. The throwing of the arm around. Gonna call summon Dragon Zord anytime now.
Node 1 is operational. Nodes 2 to 8 are reporting similar energy levels. The barrier is forming. $1,000 yards. 2,000. 3,000. Expansion remains smooth. No fluctuations detected. 4,000. 5,000. Target altitude reached. The barrier is holding steady at 5,000 yards. We've done it.
I just say that the goggles that the Ironworks guys wear is just goofy looking. Just, I don't know. How timely.
Is that an Imperial airship? Of all the rotten timing.
Well,
but this is a gift, Mistress Alisiae. They can test our new wool for us.
Just crash into it and explode immediately. Sorry, bruh.
Seems solid enough, though I was hoping for a fireball.
It's so cold. That's some cold gangster stuff, Ian. Oh wait, is that what's his face? Gaius? Totally not Gaius. Oh, he blacked out in the last thing instead of Alisiae. He was nice enough to bring him back.
It's Alphino.
Oh man. Bring the wall down. Bring the wall down right now.
Let me go! He has my brother!
Lower the barrier!
We just put this up. What do you mean? This is why we can't have nice things. I kind of wondered. I was like, what's going to happen to him if he blacks out in the middle of nowhere? I haven't met him yet, though, as Shadowhunter.
Be at ease, girl. The lad is not dead, merely locked in slumber.
No, not him too.
Brutal. That voice actor for Gaius is different. He's obviously not the same one that they had back in ARR, so...
We could identify no cause and found no remedy. Thus I sought to return him to Doma, and into the arms of Lord Hien himself, it would seem. It is a day for fated reunions. Would you not agree, adventurer? Or should I address you as the Warrior of Light?
That's right. Do I know you? Yeah. Gaius Van Balzar. What an absolute Chad.
Aye. Gaius Van Balzar, the Black Wolf. That was the title I was given. One I have long since relinquished.
Oh, it'll be that way.
Stand down. The legatus of the 14th Imperial Legion died in Castrum Meridianum. I am no more than Gaius Baelsar, a man without rank or allegiance.
Impossible! There's no way you could have survived!
Little
Do you
did you
remember
know.
how it unfolded?
I do. It was awesome.
How I was deceived by Brea? How I was convinced that reviving the Ultima weapon would allow me to bring peace to Eorzea? The Ascian used me, as he used so many others, all to further the restoration of his wretched god.
Baited.
Yet even with the might of Alec at my command, you bested me. And as the Praetorium went up in flames, I was content to burn along with it. For a moment at least. A moment of folly. To surrender my life thus would have been to betray all who died for my cause. It was for them that I dragged myself free of the rubble, and swore vengeance on the Ascians.
Still got that sword and everything.
The Black Wolf has shed his pelt, never to return to Garlemald or her legions. I live now only to exact revenge.
Which is cool, because that means he's like cared about his people enough that he's like, look, if I have to sacrifice myself and everything I am to get revenge for all the lies that I fell for, then so be it. And that's cool. That's an awesome character motivation.
My principal quarry was to be Brea, whom I gather you have since ushered onto oblivion. But so many more remain. Long as their kind lurked in the shadows, laboring to sow chaos throughout our world, I would see each and every one dragged into the light and put to the sword.
What an absolute Chad. Look at that. That's a perfect, like... Can I take a... Hang on, I'm gonna see if I can take a screenshot of that. That's great. I'm gonna do that. I don't know if I caught that noise or not, but I don't care.
Like mind?
In this single respect, perhaps.
Then I shall continue the partnership the boy began, and share what intelligence I have acquired. Among the Ascians, the Black-Masked Ilk are subordinate to those who wear red. This you already know. Yet among the Red there exists a hierarchy. Those set adrift with the shards clearly stand below those still joined to the Source.
The Source?
Nabriales, who once dared to intrude upon the Rising Stones, belonged to the former group, and while he was indeed a dangerous foe, his powers were inconsequential next to the paragons of the Source.
Gaius has gotten so much information
the first
to
was
lore dump.
Brea, who plagues us no more. There is also the white-robed Elidibus, and the elusive Emet Selch, about whom little is known.
If only he knew.
We have files on La Brea and Elidibus, but I believe this Emet Selch is new to us? As I assume my brother told you, we have evidence to suggest that an Ascian now walks in the body of the Crown Prince. Have you identified this interloper?
Elidibus seems the most likely culprit. As emissary, it is his role to maintain the equilibrium between darkness and light. Your many deeds in Hydaelyn's name have upset the balance, and I believe he seeks to restore it by throwing his considerable power behind the Empire. As a leader of the Ascians, he is one of our primary targets. It was on the trail of this very prey that the boy and I came across the scene of a failed uprising. In the absence of a single Garlean casualty, we inspected the bodies of the rebels, and the lack of any external injury drew my immediate attention. They had been slain by Black Rose, an alchemical invention of the Imperial Army. When I yet served as legatus, I ordered its production halted, and all stockpiles destroyed. Toxic gas is not a tool of conquest, but of extermination.
Toxic gas? This must be the new weapon Maxima warned us about. Something deadly enough to sweep away all resistance in a matter of hours. Gods. You don't think they're planning to use this in Alamigo, do you?
Put your fears to rest. We infiltrated the production facility and destroyed all existing stores of the chemical along with the plant itself. Even should they rebuild the operation, they will not soon manufacture another batch.
And just as soon as it came, the threat of Black Rose was gone. That quick. We brought it up and then resolved it.
Regardless, I would draw your attention to a directive we discovered in the plant's records. The document was marked with a recent date and authorized with the signature of one Eorzea Galvus.
A dead man signing the death warrant for thousands. 'Tis bad comedy.
But the tale does not end there. Within that same facility was a chamber filled with devices of elegant design. Cloning technology, we realized. And what should we find in each and every incubator? But a young Emperor Solus.
I don't remember that at all. Just a ton of Emet Selchs, just all in cloning chambers.
All of which prompts the question, were the Ascians responsible for these abominations, or was it the will of the Emperor? I must know which hand guides the Empire. Though I have given up my rank, I am yet a son of Garlemald, and I will fight for the future of my homeland.
Yeah.
It is time I return to the hunting of shadows. We should focus on our common foe. To reopen old quarrels now would serve no purpose.
You saved my brother's life, so I'm willing to let sleeping dogs lie. But in truth, it's not my decision to make.
Are they gonna ask me? Oh, ask me. Come on, ask me. You're right, it's more important matters to him. We'll settle this another time. Yeah, they'll just say that. I would just be like, I'll let it go. It's fine. I'm just looking at him like, I like to fight, and you like to fight, so we fight, and that's fine.
There was a time when I scorned those who placed their faith in false gods. Even as I, in my blinkered conviction, place mine in Ascian promises. Unlike yours, my strength of will and my restraint was found wanting. We shall meet again, warrior of light.
The one thing I have regret for in the story between now and the end of Endwalker is I wanted more Gaius in the story. He has such a cool concept. He should have been like a main driver in Endwalker. And unless I'm just the complete dementia patient, which don't get me wrong, I totally could be. He should have been. He should have been a main player in that story. He's so cool. His convictions, everything, they're all awesome. And look at him, he's murdered so many Ascians, just like completely stone cold
that
wrecked
was the
them.
infamous Black Wolf. An unexpected ally, to say the least. Well, I am content to leave the fine-tuning of the barrier to cleverer minds. Let us bid our friends from the Ironworks farewell, and see what can be done for Alphinaud back in Dorma.
You know, I think it's funny. Sometimes the game will warn you about long cutscenes, and I'll be like, "Hey, make sure you set aside sufficient time." This cutscene series was way longer than some of those. I swear it was. Maybe I'm losing my mind, but it definitely seems like it. What do I know, though? Hien. Alphinaud is safely ensconced in private chamber. My finest healer is examining as we speak. I've spoken with a physician, and there's no outward sign of illness. Alphinaud is lost in sleep, which he cannot be awoken, just like the others. It seems that even the lands of the Empire were not far enough away to escape that cursed voice. I share your frustration, Alisiae, I do, but Alphinaud was returned to us alive and otherwise unharmed. All that remains is to find the means to wake him. Until then, you can but fulfill your duties as a scion, yours and your brother's both. You're right, of course, and the arrangements to be made and little time to make them. To business then, my lord. Now that we have no Sirius wall works as intended, can we expect reinforcements for Alamigo? You most certainly can. As promised, we will send troops to bolster our allies in Eorzea without delay. Pray be aware, however, that it will not arrive without delay. Save for some few who boast teleportation magics, the bulk of our force must be transported by sea, a lengthy voyage of which the smaller vessels favored by the Confederacy are ill-equipped. Accordingly, I mean to enlist the assistance of the East Aldernor Trading Company in finding suitable ships. As for the navigating of distances in question, we are happy positioned to be able to call upon those who plotted the course of my people's exodus to Eorzea. Beyond the procurement of ships, I think it unlikely that our East Aldernard friends will consent to any involvement in military operations, but I am certain that they will afford Alphino a berth aboard one of their vessels. I shall have a charge and accompany him every ilm of the way to the Rising Stones. You have my thanks, Lord Hien. Yugiri, I will go on ahead with our friends to Alamigo. Enlist all those capable of teleportation and put them at the disposal of the Eorzean Alliance as soon as possible. They will form the vanguard. Yes, my lord. This is exactly what we'd hoped for. At least the Alliance leaders will be glad to welcome the combined strength of the East. I do like this little thing where it's just me and Alisiae, and that's pretty much all that's left. Everyone else is incapacitated. Meanwhile, at the Black Rose chemical plant.
Our supplies of Black Rose have been ruined, but the new plant is already under construction. We should have the first batch ready in time for the offensive, Your Radiance.
See that you do.
Ah, yes, the infamous Black Rose. If I recall correctly, Gaius did not much care for the invention. A ruthless and indiscriminate weapon indeed, this airborne poison. It seems you are capable of making decisions worthy of your bloodline.
With no gift for sorcery, we Garleans must look to Magitech to even the odds. If it spares the needless deaths of our soldiers and serves the cause of this empire, there is no method I would not employ.
How very noble of you. Truly, though, I must commend you for embracing your role as Emperor. You play the part of the determined ruler well. Sometimes even I catch myself believing.
Just says just the things that get under his skin as much as possible.
A silent agent of death. Now that I think on it, Black Rose may well possess the perfect aspect. Slowly but surely, the deluge of light has worked upon the ether here in the source, and the gas should be most susceptible to its influence. Well, I shall leave you to your own devices. Go forth and bloody the land with your grand and glorious war.
While you do what, precisely?
Need you ask? I will be doing what all Ascians do.
I am well aware that your kind exists only to usher in the next calamity. But you seem oblivious to the harm your singular agenda causes to the Empire. You cannot have forgotten the events which followed your mortal demise.
You know, I gotta say, the little spike in his chest seems like a really big hazard. You know what I mean? Like, what if you wanted to give someone a hug? There's no hugs. That means Varys never gets any hugs, and that's not cool.
Our homeland was plunged into civil war for your failure to name a successor. The edifice you so carefully constructed was but a hair's breadth from collapse.
Are you truly so naive? You thought me oblivious to the consequences of a departure so painstakingly timed?
It was by design?
Mad trolling. God, I love Emet Selch, he's so good.
Well, of course it was. Though I will
Spoiler.
admit the resulting panic exceeded even my wildest expectations. But how can you be surprised? Throwing the world into disarray was the very purpose for which this nation was, as you say, so carefully constructed. Now, if you have no further questions, I must be on my way. Since we may not meet again in this lifetime, it would be remiss of me not to offer a word or two of gratitude. I really must thank you for this surplus of vessels. I can mold any host into my own image, but having bodies tailor-made for me in this fashion is so much less tiresome. You dabbled in elegant cloning techniques, yes? It certainly is a compelling, not to mention entertaining, field of research. And of all the options available, you chose the founding father on whom to experiment. You have a twisted streak to you, Varus, like grandsire, like grandson, hey? If events play out as planned, this will become something of a family enterprise. You will be the capstone of this world, I the anchor and shard, and together we will give the lie to this star's fraudulent existence.
I'm straight up half expecting him to shoot him again. Just like, fine, go get another body. Just body him. Alright, that was perfect. A little bit of extension, but anyway, it's a good point to jump off. That's actually the perfect moment to jump off. So with that, we'll see you in the next one. Next one is episode, straight up, if I'm not mistaken, episode 100. So we'll be 100 episodes deep, and it might be the last episode of Stormblood, so how timely would that be? We'll see if it plays out that way, but either way, that's neither here nor there, and I'll see you till next time.